Smash him up, watch that move. Went too swift, can't catch these dudes. Listen. This Eagles talk high, this talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat Shelley, Dante the dark child. Drop the stats on them, drop the facts on them. Spur King, baby, let's get it on.
Hey fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to another edition of Eagles Talk, the #1 Eagles coverage show that's out there, that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. Hey, I'm all alone today. None of my co-hosts showed up. It's okay, though, because I can carry it by myself. And I don't have to do it alone. I don't have to carry this heavy load by myself because I have you guys right here in the chat room. You're my co-host today. So we'll be addressing what you guys have to say in the chat room. I'll be answering questions if you have any, and I'll be discussing what I have been reading and hearing from our Philadelphia Eagles in training camp. Oh, big week. Tomorrow night is our first preseason game against the New York Jets, and I am looking forward to it. I want you guys to tell me what you are going to be looking for in this game tomorrow. What are you excited to see? Our Philadelphia Eagles just on the field? What players? We know we're not going to get a lot of the starters, so this is the time where you get a chance to look at the guys trying to make the rosters and see if there's any talent there. Are you excited about that? Do you not care? Or how do you feel about preseason games when you only get to see the starters for a short period of time? Me, I'm still excited. I still like to see those players that they're talking about, that I'm hearing about in the training camp news. I like to see what they have. Are they players? Are they not? Because we need them to be players. I mean, we know what we have in our first string, but there's some secondary battles that are going on, and they're going to determine the depth of this roster. So I like to see those guys tomorrow. I like to see them be competitive. I like to see them shine. I want to see promise in those players that are fighting for roster spots. Like I said, they're going to be the depth of this team. And as we know, in our Super Bowl winning year, the depth of this team meant a lot in that Super Bowl run. Am I saying it's going to be a Super Bowl run? By no means am I saying that, but I do expect market improvement from last year and a playoff berth. And once you get in the tournament, you never know what may happen. So I'm eager to see these guys get on the field tomorrow. I want to see the starters, even though they're going to get 1 or 2 series. I'm still eager to see them, and we'll see what happens. But first, if you know anything about Eagles Talk, you know that we like to talk about our favorite football team, and we do so in such a relaxed manner. You know the format. We like to enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. You let me know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, make sure you do it responsibly. So I'm going to be partaking all alone by myself, or with you guys out there who's going to join me. I'll be taking my shot of, what is this? Jose Cuervo, the Blue Agave Silver. You guys let me know what you're partaking in. I'm not going to overdo it here. I'm all by myself outside of you guys. Thank you guys for showing up. But here we go. About to take this down the hatch. So 3-2-1 to our Philadelphia Eagles and their first preseason game down the hatch.
You're now listening to the first quarter.
All right, so first quarter, I am doing it all alone here tonight, and I'm going to make it work. So, like I said, the things I'm hearing out of training camp, let me know what you're hearing. Well, first, let me go to you guys and bring you into the conversation a little bit. So the first person in the room tonight, if you're watching on YouTube, listening, or whatever, you need to know I like to involve the commenters in the chat room. So when you hear me reading these names, I am just reading their comments. So the first person in the chat room tonight was Jeremiah Andrews, and he says, so close to Eagles football. Yes, it is, Jeremiah. Just tomorrow night, we get to see a glimpse of our Philadelphia Eagles. They take the field again, and we get to see what they are talking about in training camp and whether it's translating to the field. I know we can't totally judge them, but we'll get a chance to see what they're doing out there. Raymond Williams is second. He says, "What? I'm first. Woohoo!" Well, Raymond, you just missed it by a hair. Jeremiah was first. Brandon Tillery, much love, Eagles family. Who that? What's up, man? From down in New Orleans. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Tony is in the house. Tony Barron, yo, Bird fam, season is almost here. Yes, it is. Tony. Well, speaking of Tony, I'm glad you came on here because you just reminded me, not that I forgot, but Eagles Talk, myself and my co-host Nichelle appeared on another Eagles podcast on Tuesday night entitled Eagles Live and Lit with with the brothers from Live and Lit, and we had a great time. Great time when they're talking football, and Tony Burren was in the room. So that's why he reminded me soon I saw him because he put my business out in other people's. We was at somebody else's house, Tony, and you didn't have to put my dirty laundry out there. Let everybody know on the program that I lost to my co-host Nichelle in the Eagles Talk Fantasy Football League. He put it out there, and we were in somebody else's living room. We weren't here in the Eagles Talk living room. We was at somebody else's house, and Tony just blurted it out. Ah, Tony, I'm so mad at you. But I was with the gifted brothers of Eagles Live and Lit, D Gifted, Bird Gang 31, and Philly Notion. Those brothers have a dynamite show over there called Phillies Live and Lit. It's on YouTube. Make sure you look it up. They are on the BGN network that's run by Bird Gang 31. We might even be joining forces with those guys. They do a pretty good job. They have a lot of Eagles podcasts over there, and that they love the Birds just as much we love them here. So thank you guys for having us on, and I will have them here to special guests on our show also. I wanted to do it tonight, but didn't have the time to give it the promo that I think these guys deserve. So we're going to shoot for a later date, hopefully next week. Drexel's in the house. He says, "Good evening, everyone." Good evening, Drexel. Robert, Fly Eagles Fly. Richard Boo is in the house. What's up, Eagles family? John Petit Sr. always in from South Carolina checking in. What's up, Eagles Talk? Oh, you battling the COVID-19, John. Pray that you get better. I hope that is the case where you're not experiencing symptoms. That's what I hope. I hope that is, you just have to wait it out. I've had it a couple times myself, and thank God for the vaccination and the antibodies and immunity that it wasn't bad with me. So I pray the same for you, John. Hope that you get over it soon. Jim is in the house. If everyone stays healthy, Eagles should be atop of the Eastern Division. And I definitely agree with that, man. Definitely agree. All right, so we got this, what I'm hearing from training camp. Let's talk about that. What I'm hearing from training camp is that Hurts had a good practice yesterday, which was the last practice that they'll have before tomorrow night's game. They'll be off. They were off today, so they'll be that was the last practice that they had before the actual preseason game. And then they said he looked pretty sharp. He looked accurate in 707, 11-11s. He did good. Threw a long touchdown pass to one A.J. Brown. And the way they described it, A.J. did an excellent job. He is such a pro and a high-caliber wide receiver. They said he never turned around up until the last second, not to tip off the defender, Bradbury, and he jumped up, and he's always been a great catcher under contested conditions. So he did just that. He turned around the last second, never tipped off James Bradbury, and made a contested grab over Bradbury. Those are the type of plays that we haven't seen since the likes of T.O. here. Maybe Alshon Jeffrey did it a couple times, but T.O. was the last dominant receiver we have, and I think we have another one in A.J. Brown. So I can't wait to see him. I hope I see something from him and Hurts tomorrow, but they say Hurts looked good. He looked good. Who else is looking good out there? Teron Jackson, the defensive end, they said has been looking good in this training camp. So he's probably going to get significant snaps tomorrow because he's not a starter and he's like in that second tier. So he's probably going to get a lot of snaps. So I'll get to see just what they're talking about. Had good reports about Josh Sweat also. I've been waiting for him. He's always flashed like he's going to be a dominant defensive end, and if not dominant, he was going to show up. And I haven't seen him do it. He had a better year, probably his best as a pro last year, but I want to see more out of him, and they said he's been flashing more in this training camp. So I'm excited to see him tomorrow, and I don't know how much of him we shall see. I don't know if he's first string or second string. If he's second string, we're probably going to see him more than if he was in the first string rotation. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the team, man. But I'll go to some comments and see what you guys are talking about out here. So Eddie's in the house, and Eddie's talking about the lack of hard-hitting practices with a short preseason concerns me. I do not know if their bodies will be ready. Well, that is a concern of mine also, that this team may not be ready, because I just have the old school belief that you have to play. You have to prepare to play a physical sport, a very challenging sport, violent sport. And as the Hall of Fame Dick Vermeil said, it's a sport of combat. It's a combat sport. And if you're not practicing getting your body ready for combat, I think that can be good. But as we know, this is the way of the new NFL. Not everybody, but a lot of people have analytics. Our team, especially our team, has not been the healthiest in the past few years. So last year was one of their most healthy years, and that's when they started to adopt this less contact run training camp. So I don't see them varying from that much, but it does concern me, Eddie. I'm with you. I think personally that a part of that 2-5 start last year had to do with the team not being ready in the first month. And I'm afraid that with all the promise that and all the excitement and optimism that not only ourselves as Eagles fan have for this team, but nationally, I think that we can ill afford to come out and be as sluggish and get off to a slow start this year, especially when we have like the third weakest NFL schedule out there. It's no way we should come out and be losing early games, and I would hate to see that. I would just be not devastated, but probably angry if we come out and lay a bomb in any of our first four games. They're not, well, the Minnesota may not be a gimme, but we play Detroit. We play the Jaguars in that stretch and the Commanders in that stretch. If we should come out, if not 4-0, very close to it. And I would be disappointed if we came out 500 out of that 4-game stretch, or even worse, 1-3. Can't happen. We cannot get off to a slow start. So I have the same concern, Eddie, as you. Let me see. Richard Booth says he wants to see Covey on punt return. Covey, I hear, is doing an excellent job. I haven't heard much about the return game, but I've heard he's been doing a great job as a receiver, and that's encouraging. Where did he come from? I mean, they said he's been having great practices, and I get a chance to see him tomorrow. But they said he does have return ability, so maybe that'll be what gets him on this roster, is not only his outstanding performance as a receiver, but he's also a return specialist, and we had one of the more putrid return games in the league last year with Jalen Reagor and them back there. We need some excitement. So I would like to see him, and I would like to see him return the ball and show me some of that potential that they're talking about. Jeremiah says he's drinking the pure white Hennessy. All right, that's something else. Don't drink too much of that. Boy, I'm telling you. Eric is in the house. He says, going to be fun watching the linebackers. Yeah. How about that? We have a nice stable of linebackers, and we're going to see a good deal of some talented backers, because although the first string is not playing, and we assume that the first string, if it's a 3-4 look, would probably be Hassan Reddick, TJ Edwards, who's that? Who else is that? Kazir White, and who would be the fourth linebacker? No, it wouldn't be N'Kobe. I'm not hearing him. Oh, what's my man name? I have to look at Davion Taylor. So those are the top four, and then we have some in the background like N'Kobe Dean. I haven't even named him, and the such. So we're going to see a good deal of linebackers. Uh, if they're not the first string, they're going to be some exciting second stringers out there too, because this is probably one of the most talented linebacker groups we've had in a while, and I can't wait to see them in action. And I know I'm not going to get a full picture of how Jonathan Gannon is going to deploy this unit during the regular season, because they play a vanilla type of defense in the preseason. But at least I'll get to see them in some type of action. So I hope it's positive. My co-host is out there, it's Shelman Don. Hey, cuz the Eagles look good so far in camp. The defense is definitely going to be a problem in the NFC East. Oh, all right, that's what's up. I think so too. I think they are too. Danny Griffin's in the house. He says, "What's up, Dante? What's up, Danny? How are you doing?" Um, Robert Tom Cole says, "I hope so." I don't know. Richard Boo was in the house last on Tuesday. He heard us on the other podcast, the other show, and he says enjoyed listening to you in the show on Live and Lit. That's what's up. Thanks for tuning in. John Petit says Howie isn't going to let Rager go. He's too proud to cut his losses, and he'll take every opportunity to prove he wasn't wrong in picking Rager. I don't know about that. Well, he'll get an opportunity. I heard he has been killing the preseason as he always does, because Jalen Rager is a preseason Hall of Famer. It just does not it just does not translate into the regular season. That's all. But he's a preseason Hall of Famer. So we hope that he continues to do what he's doing, and hopefully, because he's going to make this roster with the way he's performing in the preseason. So if he doesn't get traded, there's a possibility there that somebody may need a receiver, and since he's performing so well, he may just have upped his value on the trade market. So but anything short of that, I think he shall make it. So we're going to end this quarter here, and I don't have the end of the quarter drops.
Eagles talk.
Oh, my fault. We don't have the end of the quarter drop here. So that's the end of the first quarter. You are watching Eagles Talk, the number one Eagles coverage show out there, the most unique Eagles coverage show out there that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. Yo, and on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, that's the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So I'm by myself, so this is probably going to be the last quarter I take a shot. You guys take it with me. Let me know what you're partaking in. Make sure you drink safely. No drinking and driving. So as we do it here on Eagles Talk, we take our drink and salute our Philadelphia Eagles. Down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
All right. So, and looking forward to tomorrow night's preseason game. I guess this is where the team gets some physicality, some real physicality, right? Because this is not practice. They can't possibly tell the New York Jets not to hit them, right? So this is their opportunity to get some physicality and get prepared for the regular season. So I'm eager to see that, and also crossing my fingers, as I know everyone in the Eagles front office and the coaching staff is also, that there are no significant injuries when they come out of this game tomorrow. But hey, that's the chance you take when you play football. Here we go. Brad says, hey, man, which current Eagles player do you think will have a breakout season? Devontae Smith or Nakobe Dean? Man. I think it's going to be tough for either one of them to have a breakout season with where they are tabbed. I mean, well, I guess the most likely person you would say Devontae Smith, because at least on the depth chart, he's going to be starting, so he's going to get starter snaps. I guess I'll pick him out of just based on that. But they do have significant players in front of them both. Nakobe Dean is not even listed on the depth chart as as a starter yet, so he's still working his way up the ladder. I don't know if he'll make it by the end of camp, like those other linebackers I named are performing very well, and they're getting first-team snaps, and he has just not cracked that depth chart yet. Not to say he's not going to be a dynamic player. I just don't know how many snaps he's going to get. Now, I do know that Smith is a starter and the team leader in receiving yards last year. He's going to get starter reps. The only problem he has is he has A.J. Brown on the other side, who is fastly becoming Hurts's favorite target. It's been reported in training camp, unless that changes drastically once the lights go on in the regular season. I think he's going to have a challenge there also of being able to break out. Now, if Jalen if he does take the step that we hope that he takes, then Devontae should be getting lighter coverage than A.J. Brown. So if he was smart, he would be looking Devontae Smith's way a little more than he has in training camp, because I'm hearing that a large percentage of the passes are going to A.J. Brown. So that gives me concern that maybe Devontae Smith is going to have a challenge having a breakout season himself. But if I had to answer your question, I picked Devontae Smith. Let me see. John Batiste is out there. He says Smith is going to have a huge season. I hope so. I hope so. Raymond is agreement with me. He said it's close, but he's giving the nod to Smith. Exactly. I have to give it to Smith only because he's a starter. But he's going to have a challenge in doing that. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. So Richard again says he enjoyed listening to us and we enjoyed being there. We'll be there again. No, John Batiste says he doesn't see Rager returning kicks, and neither do I, and nobody wants to see that. All right, B. Dizzle's in the house, and he has a question. He says, when will we see in practice a wide receiver beating a DB? Should we be happy or concerned? Well, they've reported that they are beating them. They're doing a lot of dinking and dunking slants and the such, but the long passes that I'm hearing that the shots they are taking, like the one I described a little earlier with A.J. Brown over James Bradbury, we saw that in the open practice, but I heard a report yesterday that he did the same thing, very contested, very savvy receiver. He didn't turn around until the last minute. He did not tip off the DB that the ball was coming, and that's something of a seasoned veteran, a dynamite wide receiver would do, and he does that. So we're hearing some, but I'm not hearing a lot of shots being taken down the field like I would probably like to. We have a Quez Watkins on the team that they report is the fastest wide receiver in the NFL. So why am I not hearing more shots being taken down the field, even in practice? I mean, that's where you're supposed to practice. Do those type of things is practicing for the regular season, right? So why am I not hearing about those? And it's okay. You know, Jalen is working on some things that he worked on in the summer with the quarterback guru. So just as a pitcher who's learning new pitches, they try it out in training camp. They throw that pitch even though it's not perfected yet because they are trying to perfect it. So I guess they are trying to perfect Jalen Hurts' accuracy with the slants and the short routes and making sure that he can make all those throws, because one of his problems was anticipation and timing throws, and they seem to be running a lot of those in training camp, a lot of slants with A.J. Brown, because he is a receiver that gets a lot of yards after the catch, and they are not necessarily his yardage is not necessarily made up of a lot of plus 30-yard catches. He catches some passes within the 10 to 20-yard mark, and then he stretches them out. So they've been doing a lot of those type of routes in practice to A.J. Brown, and I guess that's them working on Jalen Hurts, improving his anticipation and improving his accuracy. So I have no problem with that, but at some point, if we're going to try to establish ourselves as an explosive passing offense, he's going to have to take a couple shots down the field. Jeremiah Patton says it should be competitive, shouldn't be just one-sided. I know, and I know you're talking about Smith and Brown. I hope so. B. Dizzle Who do you root? That's the thing. Who do you root for? In regards to what, I must have missed the earlier comments. We have somebody, Philly Eric, our wide receivers. He's on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, Philly Eric. But his comment is our wide receivers playing against our cornerbacks are going to make some smart players versus all other teams. Yeah. Improved, and John Batiste is agreeing. He said not only that, but short intermediate routes improves confidence. Yes, that's another great point you're making there, John. Eddie says Devontae has been out with groin injury. Can't just say he's looking at Brown only. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's the part. I was just going off of reports that I was hearing that when he was in the game, that majority of the passes were still going to A.J. Brown. But that's a good point. He has been injured and not in practice, missed a couple practices. So even then, though, I mean, the people that are taking his place are going to be players that's plays, right? I mean, so it's good that he's trying to feature A.J. Brown, but he's going to have to look the other way also. I mean, that's part of what we talked about him making his progressions and being and that being one of his weaknesses. So if you're only looking at A.J. Brown, I don't think that is working on that. I hope they are. I hope they are pushing for him to make all of his progressions, and I'm hoping that through those reads, he's come back to A.J. Brown and realize he's the best one. But if he's just locking on A.J. Brown, then that's not an improvement in his quarterbacking skills from last year. We can't have him locking in on receivers, and we need him to be able to go through his progressions. Even if he hasn't totally learned how to read defenses, the very, very least he can do is go through all his progressions, because sometimes there are better options open if you can just read the field real fast. So I agree with you there, Eddie. A.J. Brown, Jason's he hit it right on the nail right there. And I had said this the other day on the other show, on the Eagles Live and Lit. But Jason says A.J. Brown is the best receiver we've had since T.O. I totally agree with that. He is a man. He is a physical player who can catch, whose catch radius is enormous. He makes the contested catches, and we haven't seen it made on that grown man level since we've had T.O. And as I said the other day, a receiver such as A.J. Brown, talent, makes a quarterback who may not be the most accurate more accurate, because he has a giant catch radius. You can barely throw a bad ball to him. And I pointed out in the open practice that 30-yard pass wasn't necessarily the most perfectly thrown ball, but A.J. Brown, being the magnificent receiver he went and got that ball, and even though he was highly contested on that. And that's what I mean by a receiver such as his caliber can make a quarterback like Jalen Hurts look better. So I'm so happy he's in the building, and he's wearing the midnight green. And on top of that, just hearing that he's a good guy all around, man. So having him on the team, you're right. He is the best wide receiver we've had since T.O. And I thought Alshon Jeffrey was pretty good, but no, this guy is a grown-ass man. All right, let me see what else we have here. Quietly, John Batiste says Dallas Goedert is having a great camp. Oh, that's good. Well, let me see. Sulema's in the house. Sulema, how are you doing? She says, hello, friends. I just came to say hi. I got food poisoning last night, so I missed work this morning and now playing catch up. Oh, sorry to hear that, Sulema. Hopefully you feel better. Hopefully you feel better. What about Quez? Yeah, that's what I said earlier. What about Quez? I haven't been hearing a lot about Quez in practice. They're still high on him, but I'm just wanting to hear that they are throwing to him down the field. I think that he's going to make a tremendous leap from last year to this year, being the number 3 receiver in the slot. He's going to be pushed by Zach Pascal, a very talented wide receiver in his own right, and that's dynamic. Either one of them, as our 3 and 4 receivers, say that we have a better wide receiver core because I think they are nice receivers to be in the 3rd and 4th wide receiver spot on this team. So I'm excited about seeing those guys play not only in the preseason because, let's face it, they're going to probably be catching some balls from Gardner Minshew, and he's hopefully, if everything goes well, he doesn't play a lot this year. So again, we probably won't see the best of them until we see them in the regular season when they're playing with the first string quarterback. So I'm still eager to see them though, and I'm high on our number 3 and number 4 wide receivers, Quez and Pascal. Here we go. What's up, family? JT's in the house. JT, you just now coming in. Where have you been? Jeremiah says, do we need to be worried about Sanders' health and our running backs by committee? Yes, we always have to be worried about Sanders' health because he has not proven that he can stay healthy for a full year. Now, we all know that when he plays, he's dynamic. He's great. But when he doesn't, you know, he doesn't. The best ability is availability, and he just does not. It's just not available enough over the past couple of years. So we are looking for him to be healthier, and if he can, I think that bodes. That of course that's going to bode well. We're talking about a guy with over 5-yard per carry career average here. So when he cuts the ball, he gets yards. So I hope he's in the building a lot, or he's in the game a lot and not on the shelf like he has been in years past. Plus, it's a contract year for him, so he needs to do that. He needs to be more determined. I hear that he's looking more muscular. He's ready for the pounding. I don't know what kind of load they're going to allow him to carry since they have the running back by committee and they have a 3-headed beast here in Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, and Boston Scott. So they'll probably spread those carries around. And I know Sanders has said in the past that he would like to have the bulk of the carries. He wants to be that workhorse. He is a running back. Running backs like to get the ball a lot because it gets them in a rhythm. It's kind of harder for them to get in a rhythm when they're only getting 12 to 15 touches. I remember, and you guys do too, when we had those type of running backs in the league that got the bulk of the carries, and we only do that. There are not a lot of cowbell running backs in the league nowadays. They like to spread it out, but we have a few. We have Derrick Henry. We have Jonathan Taylor from Indianapolis. We have a few, but where they can, they like to do running back by committee and save their running backs. We certainly like to do that. That's how we won the Super Bowl that year, and I don't know if he's going to get his wish of getting a larger workload. And I think without that, how can he prove himself to be a durable back if you don't give him the ball? So I'm rooting for Miles to get the ball more, at least as a ball carrier. We know that Kenny Gainwell is the premier pass catching back on the team, and he's going to get his looks. But as the ball carrier, I would like to see Miles Sanders get a bulk of those carries behind our massive offensive line. It can't be anything but a good thing. So, Shell, what you say? Hey, brother, who you talking to? I don't know. Jeremiah says, so we trade Sanders next year when he underperformed. Yeah, if you can. I mean, he'll be this is his contract year. So I don't know, will he be a full free agent or restricted? But if he's a full free agent, we're not going to be able to trade him after the year. I just hope that he needs to perform. He just needs to perform because how he'll give him fair market value. I don't think he's going to get a Derrick Henry type deal or anything like that. But if he does well, and you know how he likes to, lock those things up early in the year on a contract year. So if all he needs to do really is to perform the first 7 games, I'm going to say, first 7 games of the season, if he is durable, if he carries the load and does well, I say after the 7th game, Howie is signing him to an extension, and he's going to get him at a good value if Miles Sanders agrees to sign. He's going to get him at a good value at that time of year. So hopefully Miles stays healthy. Eddie says the running backs is a worry for me. We don't have that big body running back for short yard situations. And Sanders is a question as well. Just got finished talking about that. I think Boston Scott can play that little bowling ball role down by the goal line. I think he's stout enough to do that. If not, there is a running back on the undrafted running back. I think I can't place his name at the moment that they said is a bruiser. So we'll see how that plays out. One above all is watching us on YouTube. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, one above all. And let me see, we're going to end this quarter. And we're going to end the second quarter. I don't have the timer and I don't have the drop for it, but that is the end of the second quarter. So you're watching Eagles Talk, the #1 Eagles coverage show out there that's by Eagles fans, for Eagles fans. We're here. We're discussing our Philadelphia Eagles going into the first preseason game tomorrow night against the New York Jets. Can't wait to see it. I want you guys to let me know who you want to see the most tomorrow. Who are you looking forward to see, whether it's a starter in a very limited role or if it's one of the camp battles that are going on for a spot on the roster. Who are you hyped up to see tomorrow? Who will you be keeping your eye on tomorrow? All right, so normally we take a shot. This is the show where we like to talk about our Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I'm done, but I was doing the Jose Cuervo. I guess I got to mock it because other than that, as we'll be skipping that whole segment. So I'll mock it, and I'll take just a something. All right, so here we go. You let me know what you're drinking. This is barely a sip, but drink responsibly out there as we go into the third quarter. So everybody, raise your drink to our Philadelphia Eagles and down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
All right, so in this third quarter, I ended off second quarter asking that question. I want you guys to answer it. So who are you looking for? Who do you want to see tomorrow in this game? Who are you looking forward to seeing? John Batiste says, I need the first team offense to get in the end zone. Also need a sack or INT from the first team defense. That would be probably one of the most, perfect situations that you like to see in this preseason game tomorrow. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing to finally see an offense come out and take the ball right down the field in the first game of training camp and do it impressively, get in the end zone, and then on defense, this new revamped defense, if that first team defense comes out against the Jets and get a sack or INT, that'll be very encouraging. That'll be very, very encouraging going into this season. And just especially after talking about what I talked about the physicality and how we're not that physical in camp now. If we came out and saw our first team offense dominate and take the ball right down the field, and then our first team defense get either a sack or INT, I think everybody would relax a little bit. That would be some soothing news for us old timers like that, think like me and Eddie out there that think that we're not physical enough in practice. I guess that would appease us to a certain extent if we came out and played with dominance, physical dominance, and did good things with our first team on the field. Yeah, I feel good about that. Jeremy T says he wants to see Jordan Davis. And who would not want to see Jordan Davis? That's a good one right there. I'll be keeping my eye on Jordan Davis, too. I mean, we've all seen the video, and he's such a good guy. If you heard from him today or read any articles, he said he felt bad for Cam Jurgens, the guy in the open practice video that he bounced around the guy was doing bunny hops backwards. That's how Jordan had him. He just was pushing him back, and he dominated. But he said he felt bad for him because that was just one video. That was one play. But throughout the summer, he says Cam Jurgens is a respected foe, and there's been times when he has gotten the best of him, Jordan Davis, but you don't see that. The only thing you saw was the video that went viral where he dominated Cam Jurgens. But even with that, I'm still looking forward to seeing the big guy dominate the New York Jets. I hope he has them on skates and bouncing backwards like a bunny hop tomorrow night. I want to see him dominate. I just want to see him, period, because he's a big guy. He's a massive guy, very athletic, very strong. I want to see how that is going to affect this defensive line, and I like to see how our big defensive line plays together. I mean, you have a Jordan Davis, you have a Fletcher Cox, you have Hargrave. That's dominating up there in the middle. So I can't wait to see this guy in action tomorrow. He's one I'll be keeping my eye on also, JT. Good choice. Tim Mack says he wants to see Hurts and a passing touchdown. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be all eyes on Jalen Hurts tomorrow. I mean, let's be real. I mean, we haven't seen him in the preseason. I don't think he played any preseason last year, did he? I can't recall, but they played very, very little. So we are all going to be anticipating seeing our quarterback in his first action of the preseason. 2 series doesn't seem like enough, but in those 2 series, if we got a chance to see a touchdown, and we got a chance to see him lead the Eagles down the field on a touchdown, and better yet, how about ending it off with a passing touchdown? That would be great. That would be great. I feel good about that. We probably would feel better about Hurts for those that are doubting whether he can be our franchise quarterback. That would have to put you at ease to a certain extent. Unless you are a Hurts hater, then it may not be enough. And we do have some of them out there, but hopefully if you are a diehard Eagles fan that you're rooting for him, such as I am myself, I don't think it's beyond his ability to be able to improve enough for us to have confidence in him. We just need to see it, and it starts with tomorrow's preseason game. Now, I'm not going to be over judgmental about this game tomorrow. Don't get it twisted. If he happens to lead our team down and we get a passing touchdown, or he looks good on a couple passes, and we moving the chains and he looks okay, I'm going to be happy, of course. I'm going to be happy about that. But if it doesn't go as well as expected, I mean, anything short of him just plain stinking up the joint, that would not be good at all. But if it was just an average game by him, I would not panic. Let's put it that way, because I do understand that this is still just preseason, and it's their first time going up against a team not wearing, well, they will be wearing green, but going up against a team that are not wearing the same uniforms as themselves. So I'm not going to be over judgmental. I know that it's part of the preseason process and getting ready for the season. So although there will be a very short sample size of what we get and what we're able to watch with the first string, I'm going to be not overcritical, let me say that way. I'm going to try to keep it realistic. Tony Barron says, what about tight end? I think we might get an idea on the pecking order behind Dallas these next couple of weeks. Yes, we do have to figure out who's behind Dallas Goedert. We have Tyree Jackson, who's still out, right? He's still out. Rodgers is there. Kyle Cutter is doing some good things. Stoll, I'm hearing good things also. And John Batiste said he thinks it's going to be Cal Calcaterra, will be tight end number 2. That's what John Batiste thinks. What do you think about Hurts this year? I think I just told you, Hurts, a lot of our success is going to depend on how well he performs, of course. But I also mentioned this. It's not going to be solely on his shoulders. A lot of what he's able to do is going to depend on the play calling that's made by Steichen and Sirianni. The play design and then the play calling is going to help him or hurt him. So it's not just on his shoulders. He has to be put in a good position to perform well. Please take advantage of what he does well. As far as passing the ball, I mean, we know he can run the ball well, but I don't want to see. I want to see him use his ability, all his abilities. So I'm not saying I don't want to see him run, but I want to see him develop as a passer more importantly. So, you know, there's and especially with young quarterbacks, there's that dilemma of when you run and don't you run. And if you are a great athlete, you are prone to run first. And we saw a lot of that last year. So I want to see the maturity and the progression of him growing into looking for the pass first, or taking his time to survey the field before he decides to take off. Don't be so jumpy. Get comfortable in being in the pocket before you take off, because we saw him take off a lot, and he's a great runner. Don't get me wrong. He is a great runner, but I like to see him develop more as a passer. That's what I want to see. But in all, I just want to see him take a step up from last year, where he's a better passer, he's a more accurate passer, and maybe he recognizes um, more at the line of scrimmage than passing, meaning learning to read the defense a little better, having that pre-snap read be a little tighter. Show me. I'm hearing that he's doing the anticipation throws a little bit better, but those little nuances that you have to have as a professional quarterback, such as looking the receiver off and not staring your receiver down the field and things like that. I need to see some of that also. But he has some weapons, and he has the weapons to be able to do it. We need to see the play design and the play calling go with that. And I think the sky is the limit for Jalen Hurts. You have to remember, he was not drafted as a starter. He was drafted really basically to be a backup, because we had a quarterback, a franchise quarterback at the time, that was injury prone. So I don't think that Howie at the time that he drafted him was expecting him to be the starter or the franchise quarterback. But as you know how the story goes. The whole franchise quarterback thing blew up. So he had to pivot, and we have Jalen Hurts here. So we are looking. I'm going to keep my eye on him, and I think that he's going to. I think he's going to have a good year. That's why I'm going to. If I'm going to make a prediction, I think he's going to have a good year. I really do. How good? It depends on what I describe, but I think he's going to have a good year. I think this offense is going to be better than it was last year. So that's the end of the third quarter, man. I thank all of you guys for joining me here on Eagles Talk, all by my lonesome, but I'm not alone, because you guys are in the chat room and you are keeping me company, giving me plenty of material to talk about. So I thank you guys for showing up. I don't have the drop to end the quarter because Pat has it on his soundboard, but that's the end of the third quarter. I'll get to your comments as soon as we get to the fourth quarter. Okay, Shelman is still out there. All right, as soon as we get to the first quarter. So normally, this is Eagles Talk, and we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we like to do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage. I'm not going to do any more shots. I was doing the shots of the Jose Cuervo. You guys were letting me know what you were doing, but I'm going to skip the fourth quarter. So, to our Philadelphia Eagles, I'll just raise my beer. All right.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
All right, so this is the fourth quarter. Our Philadelphia Eagles are taking on the New York Jets. Tomorrow night, Shelman, my co-host, is out there in the rooms, and he says, Dante, we need to see how this O-line looks, and if Jordan Mailata looks, if Jordan Mailata looks, they need to protect Hurts. All right, I'm assuming that you meant how Jordan Mailata looks. Now, Jordan Mailata, unless he has some kind of brain freeze or amnesia, he should look like he did last year. I mean, he looked like a beast. I wouldn't be surprised if he looks any different, unless you are making the point, and I heard this from my co-host Michelle, unless you are making the point about this offensive line and its performance in pass protection, because we did have a very dominant offensive line last year, and that was against the run. We mauled people. This offensive line were bruisers, and they played better moving forward than backpedaling and pass protecting. So although this line is massive and is known as one of the physical lines in the NFL, we weren't the greatest in pass coverage. So if you're getting to that and you want to see how this entire line, because Malata did his job, he had spectacular grades as left tackle in this league. If you want to see the offensive line as a whole pass protect Hurts better, then yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But there's a lot that goes into that. They might not have been the best pass blocking offensive line, but some of that comes with playing with a quarterback who likes to run, because you don't know where he is. It's like playing with Michael Vick and playing with Lamar Jackson. Um, you don't know where he's going to be, because you can be blocking and he could be running around the right side. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Running quarterbacks give you that. They give you the potential to have an explosive offense because they can take off at any time, but it can drive some offensive lines crazy with that type of quarterback. So I have to add that into the equation just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit about that. But overall, you're right, Shell. We need to see the offensive line do a great job in protecting Hurts, because I'm asking for him to stay in the pocket. So if I'm asking him to do that, he needs to be protected and he needs to feel comfortable being in the pocket. So yeah, O-line, we need you to block better on passes, pass protection, please. I want to see cohesion on defense. Jermaine says, I want to see a defense that knows how to stop drives. That's something to look at also, Jermaine. Great point there. I want to see some cohesion on defense. We know that this defense has been well tooled, and Jonathan Gannon has been giving some more tools in his toolbox this year. He's not going to be able to rest on not having the talent to play the type of defense he wants to play not any longer. I think that Howie has gone out and giving him ample talent to be able to perform or execute the defensive style that he wants to execute. And hopefully it's a more aggressive style than what we saw last year. I'm going to chalk that up to maybe him not having the personnel that he thought he needed to run it. But this year, I think he has no excuse. And if we're still seeing this soft type of defense, then I'm going to be, me personally, I'm going to be a little disappointed. I want to see more pressures and more sacks and more turnovers, whether that be forced fumbles, strip sacks, or INTs, especially INTs. We have a secondary back there now that is one of the best we've had on paper, at least since the Asante Samuel and Sheldon Brown, right? So we have two former Pro Bowlers, one being just as recent as last year, and Bradbury 2 years ago. So we have a pretty good cornerback tandem, and if you add in Maddox in the slot, we have a good secondary now. So I want to see more interceptions. I want to see aggressive play calling on the defensive side, and I want to see some heat in the kitchen. That's what I want to see. I want to see our D-line getting at these people. I want to see them bringing the quarterback down. We were second to last in sacks last year. Come on now. This Jim Johnson is rolling over in his grave. Buddy Ryan is doing backflips. We've been known as a aggressive defense for such a long time, and it's now been a long time since we've been known as an aggressive defense. So I like to see that also, Jermaine. I want to see cohesion on defense, but I want to see a hungry defense, one that is causing turnovers and making it easier for our offense to score points, because that's what it does. When we get turnovers on defense, you give our offense an opportunity to score, and you put them in great or better field position. So now, instead of having this offense that has to run the ball 80 yards down the field, or put together 80-yard drives, they only have to put together 40-yard drives. They shorten the field when you get us turnovers. So I like to see some sacks. I want to see that aggression. I think we have the personnel for it. The defensive line is stacked now, at least in my opinion, and from what I'm hearing. We got big guys in the interior. We got speed rusher in Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. We got some people that can get some pressure on the quarterback. I'd like to see it come to fruition. I like to see it happen on the field. Portia says, right, he needs to get comfortable in the pocket. Talking about Hurts, yes, I want him to be comfortable. And Lois says, yes, go through his progressions. Yeah, I want to see him be able to go through his progressions. You don't get a lot of time. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. It wasn't easy for me, even on the video game. So I know it's not easy in real life to go through these progressions. You only get about 4 seconds, so you have to be on top of your games. But that's what makes good quarterbacks because they're able to go through their progressions very quickly and get the ball out into the people's hands who needs it. Who needs it. So we need Jalen to get better at that. And I hope that, and I'm rooting for him too, because come on, we all win. If Jalen does emerge as the franchise quarterback, it helps us so much more in other areas on the field. Now we don't have to get a quarterback. Now we don't have to use draft capital on finding a quarterback. Now we can use that draft capital on actually acquiring more young talent. So I'm rooting for the guy, and I hope that he has improved uh, by leaps and bounds from last year. And I hope he just starts to prove the critics and the haters wrong. John Petit says, I think it will be a huge deal that this is the first time he says the same coach and offensive coordinator in consecutive years since high school. I hope that does make a difference. I really does. Jason says Michael Irvin has some good things to say about Hurts and the Eagles. Yes, he did. I heard that, but I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. I like Michael Irvin and all, but let's take that with a grain of salt. I'm of the belief that let's wait till we see it. It's good to hear it, but you're not going to lull me to sleep or get me falsely confident in any of that, Michael Irvin. You keep your opinions to the Dallas Cowturds, okay? Let us worry about the Eagles, okay? So I'm not falling for that. Dion Jones, Dion, what's up? I'm late to the party. Has anyone evaluated special teams yet? We know there's a major potential on offense and defense. It's a great time to interject that, Dion. You are absolutely right. Our special teams have been average to below average the past couple years. We've had like no return game at all. I talked a little bit about hopefully seeing Covey in one of those return positions because he's a return specialist. He's done it in college, and he's doing great things as a receiver, and hopefully that earns him a spot on the team along with his return skills. He seems like a person that has the ability to give us some punch in the return game. So I'm with you on that. Kicking, punting, all of that plays a big role in how this team can achieve a success out there. I just talked about field position and defense giving us field position with turnovers, but we get a lot of our field position with our special teams. So I'm going to be paying attention to them tomorrow also. More blitzing, Mo, Alan says. I'm with that. Shellman, my co-host, says, copy, our pass protect is subpar. We left a lot of points on the field last because they were not sharp. Our second minute drill also needs to be better about scoring after we get the turnovers. We got some turnovers just last year. I mean, Slay had he he came back in the the interception column last year. So I'm excited to see what he does this year with a better defensive line than what he had. If those guys can shorten the quarterback's time allowed in the pocket, man, that's going to be great for us. So, I can't wait to see what they do here with this offense and this defense. Actually, we want to see a lot. Why were you late again? Somebody's getting on. Somebody's getting on Dion. Dion, you were late. Here we go. Toby Cooper, question: is Davis the next Jerome Brown? I saw the article. If you're referring to the article, or if not the article, maybe it was just a meme or something where they had a picture of Jerome Brown in the background and the picture of Jordan Davis, in front of him, and that was the question: is Davis the next Jerome Brown? I would hope, you would only hope. I mean, come on. Jerome Brown was probably on his way to being a Hall of Fame tackle had his life not been cut short. Um, and he was a monster. He was a monster. And if he could live up to being a Jerome Brown, then we have something very, very, very special there. I mean, he has the attributes. He's a big guy. He's a big guy with speed, not necessarily known for getting after the quarterback in college, but maybe he's asked to do more. He has a different role now in the NFL. So who knows? We only time will tell, but it starts with tomorrow night and watching, and all eyes will be on him while he's on the field. So it remains to be seen. He can be, but it remains to be seen. I truly hope so. Um, Dion is joking. He says he was late because he's running for president in 2024. Make America late again. Okay, Dion. All right. Jason is responding to Toby Cooper. He says he says Jerome Brown was a different animal, a man, straight beast. He was a straight beast. And Toby Cooper says Davis could be a beast. He just needs time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He needs time. We need time to see this. Richard Boo is saying, I'm hearing Reddick hadn't been rushing the passers. He's been in coverage. No, not true. I've heard reports that he has been getting sacks or hurries, quarterback pressure in the preseason and the practices. Of course, they're not allowed to bring the quarterback down, but he's been credited with some sacks and getting to the quarterback, and it was even seen a little bit in the open practice. So it's not been true that he's not been getting after the quarterback. He is asked to drop back in pass coverage at times, and we all know that we do not want to see that more than him rushing the quarterback. I mean, that's what we brought him in here for. So I know he has to practice the scheme, and maybe they'll switch it up a little bit and try to fool the offense by having him drop back in coverage. But that is not something we want to see on a regular basis. Not with a guy we brought in here to get heat on the quarterback. Let him do what he do best. Let him do what we got him to do, and that's get the quarterback. So, that's all I have to say about that. But hey, guys, this is around the end of the show here. Your man, Dante the Dark Knight, all by my lonesome, man. I thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, I was on the program the other day, the Eagles Live and Lit program on the BGN network. They are on YouTube. They are on Facebook, but you probably want to go to their YouTube channel. They have a lot of Eagles based shows there, and we may even be joining forces with them. At the very least, we'll be inviting those hosts on the show from Eagles Live and Lit. That was Philly Notion. I'm sorry, I'm losing my thought here. Here we go. All right. That was Philly Notion and Bird Gang 31 and my man D something. I can't remember his name. But these guys were great, and we should have them on sooner than later. joining forces. Hopefully next week. Portia said, looking good things for N'Kobe Dean. Dion says, solo Dark Knight. Yes, solo Dark Knight. Yeah. And, yo, with that, though, we're going to take it out of here. My co-host should be back next week. So I won't be on the solo, but it's all right because I have you guys filling in for them, helping me, and carrying the show by myself, but not by myself, with you guys. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you guys so much. But, yo, we out of here, man. I'll see you guys next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. Come back, tell me who you thought played the best in this game tomorrow. And until then, I'm out. Peace.